Baptiste. It's more that they've just gone, maybe Baptiste works really well against most of the heroes they like to play, most of the dive heroes he works really well against. He's not too great against poke, which is why they may have put him into captain against this Kestrel. And they are going to bring Captain Baptiste with possibly a weapon Idris to dive in onto the Kestrel, but we also could see double CP. It would be kind of risky against Catherine because she counters Idris' Chakram as long as she can tank it successfully. So I think it will probably be weapon Idris just diving into the Kestrel, and that makes even more sense against Celeste, unless they want to go for a double poke comp.
Yeah, but there is one thing to note as well. With that Baptiste being picked up, going up against 2 pokes and 2 damages, right? I mean, the mages in this game...
We are starting with an aggressive early game rotation again. Impunity straight to the front heel, and it works, but it's just countered by... What SNK had to do was rotate straight to their backs and take them away. Impunity going to be slightly ahead.
Yeah, but SNK do not have that, the weapon blade, early weapon blade, and all the early crystal bit just to help them or just go into the bags of Impunity. However, Infamous, all 3 members in lane trying to push this lane out really, really quickly just to try to, force DefQ back up into lane, which they are successful at. But, as a weapon caster, your early game clear is just relatively good as well. Granted, the turret will take a little damage from the minions, but all in all, it will be well and dandy for Castro or for DefQ on this Castro, and of course the entire team of Impunity. I must say, Impunity's team comp, a lot of CCs and a lot of hard CCs. In fact, as for the side of Infamous, they lack CC, so it's just down to how much pressure they can apply in lane before Celeste hits the level 8. Because Scarf does well against Celeste before Celeste hits level 8 because of the range that Spitfire has. Whereas once Celeste hits the level 8, it will be a difficult fight. The Core Collapse comes in, and Solar Storm to your face as well will be something that Spaghetti and probably SNK and Chingy has to think about when going to any team fights. Because granted, the side of Infamous, they have got a decent frontliner in terms of Baptiste, and they got a soft CC in terms of the Ordain, but all in all, they just do not have the poke that the side of Impunity actually has.
Yeah, and Infamous actually freezing the wave quite successfully, forcing DefQ to be in a poor position if he wants to farm the wave. And the early game rotation from Infamous was actually good. They got their backs together, then by pushing the wave as 3, it made DefQ not able to get ahead in gold, they just became even. So even though Impunity took away the front camp, the mid healing camp, Infamous didn't get behind in gold because DefQ was unable to share the backs. And it's not going to be too aggressive for Impunity because they have the Celeste. Speaking of Celeste, she's going to get Ordained and going to walk into the wall. There could be a lot of damage going down. She's going to use the boots and healing flask, and Luxley will be able to get away. Yeah, Impunity, as I said, really going to be really defensive while it's all on Infamous with this weapon Idris now to try and dive in onto the Kestrel as early as possible.
Yep, I'll not say weapon Idris is just terrible, but going up against a weapon Castro that can just immediately active camo, and then if you were to chase, just stun you out in it, it just proves to be very invaluable as a pickup. I would rather if Infamous just go for double CP, that way you can try to outpoke, and I say try with great emphasis, that of Impunity, or the poke coming up from Impunity at least. And it's kind of sucky for Infamous at this point in time because they are not trying to push their early game advantage up against the Celeste whatsoever, and Quattrovo at this point in time only has got 2 stacks, and Impunity, rather Infamous, definitely have got an earlier game team comp. They can definitely try to push very, very hard, but they are not doing so.
Yeah, they're definitely just letting Impunity farm up, and maybe they're hoping that Shingy late game will be the hero that he needs to be on this Scarf. I think it is risky. Definitely, Weapon Idris does well against Kestrel and reasonably well against Celeste once it gets later on in the game. But they don't want Celeste to hit level 8 as freely as she currently is. They really want Celeste to be struggling to farm up, struggling to get those levels. And yeah, it just seems like both teams are happy to wait as long as possible. And DefQ actually farming up a little bit better than Spaghetti, so there was a slight 200 gold lead to in favour of Impunity.
Yep, I mean the 200 gold lead wouldn't be anything at all. It would not amount to, say, an item or anything, in fact, because all in all, Impunity, they are playing very unlike themselves. However, Infamous will be going in for the turret siege.
No, they definitely are. That turret's down to half health. There's going to be a stun onto SNK. Double stun. Get destroyed immediately by Quadrivoire's Merciless Pursuit into the core collapse from Blue City. And that is the problem that we're having with this Juan Batista. He has no defense, no tankiness inherently in his kit. He's all about damage, all about peeling for the rest of his team. And so in doing that, that means that if you catch SNK out himself, he's really in a poor position. Impunity trying to hide for anyone being overextending, but no one will. All members of Infamous just backing off, and this front healing camp will most likely go over to Impunity if they wait, but they know that Batista's spawned again, so they're just going to back off to their own jungle.
Yep, and one more thing as well is that we saw the amount of CC chains that, you know, Impunity can put out, and on top of that, the Batiste is only good if you can, you know, if you are up against a triple dive comp or double dive comp. That way a Batiste is just very, very good, because like you say, you have got Fearsome Shade to just chase anybody away if they just try to dive on your teammates. However, with this team comp, you are basically just a sitting duck all in all.
Yeah, speaking of sitting duck, there is SNK going to force his fountain on himself very early in the team fight. On Quadrivoire, but that's not the target. And now Infamous looking to try and siege this turret once again. Not sure if Spaghetti and Shingy are going to be able to do that. They are just going to poke the turret, and they will. Scarf with the Spitfire actually able to poke the turret down to dead. Now DefQ is going to try and get some damage. Quadrivoire with the stun, Spaghetti, 2 glimmer shots to the face, but Blue City is stunned out by the Ordained. The fountain from Quadrivoire doing so much work, but Spaghetti with the link into the back line due to his diversion paths being unlocked. Shingy going to try and get some damage onto DefQ, and the active cover trap is there, but Shingy's not quite going to walk into it. One shot, one kill is available. Might be thrown out just for a bit of poke, but not really going to be securing any kills. Good fight in the end for Infamous.
Yep, definitely a good fight, and I guess that is where Batiste shine. If you're caught out of position, you do not have your early reflex block, what happens is that Ordain is there, you want to try to get as far away as Infamous as possible, and thus risking you walking into the walls or the perimeters of that Ordain. That way Infamous can just immediately capitalize on your mistake, and of course your off positioning, and just take you down. And with that as well, definitely a very good fight going over for Infamous, and definitely with that early game push, this is what I'm talking about all in all. Chingy really needs to capitalize the advantage that he has against Celeste before Celeste hits the level 8, because Chingy has got damage over time, whereas Celeste is immediate burst, one shot, one kill, coming out a little wide.
Yep, not quite going to connect to anyone. Quadrivoire looking for another stack of his Captain of the Guard. But Infamous are backing off, not allowing him to pick any of that up. Idris is actually going for Poison Shiv, second item. What do you think about that, Luxurious? Do you like it, or do you think there's no need because there's no healing except from Eve of Harvest and Blue City?
Well, I mean, all in all, I personally do not quite like it. I prefer Spaghetti. Or maybe it's not just to counter healing, but it's just that little sustain that Spaghetti maybe want to have. And of course, you know, it reduces the fountain by, you know, a third as well. So I guess it is valuable for Infamous, all in all. But I personally think it is just down to the sustain that it provides. But I would prefer if Spaghetti probably just went for, you know, the Tornado Trigger, if not the Breaking Point, although it's very unlikely to be, you know, found on Idris whatsoever. However, this build has got its own perk, like said, is the extra healing that you receive, and the Mortal Wound will prove to pay you off favors in that of the late game.
Yeah, that does make sense. The Mortal Wound will be really effective against the Fountain, and that could make the difference in the end in these team fights. DefQ obviously going for the very little defense, so Spaghetti doesn't need that much weapon power to completely destroy them in a team fight. Blue City looking to try and poke. He is now level 8. This is a really good power spike for Celeste, who's only got the Frostburn, but so has Scarf. But yeah, this level 8 really means that SNK has to get even closer to the backline if he wants to get any form of Ordained or any form of CC onto them, any kind of effectiveness. And Quadrivoire's only on 7 stacks 9 minutes in. Looks like Impunity looking for a fight. There's the Blast Tremor, going to be thrown down, but there's no follow-up at all for Impunity. One shot going wide, and that was a wasted Blast Tremor. 90 seconds on that cooldown. This could be the time for Infamous to fight. This could be the Impale landing on Spaghetti, but he's going to just blink away. No real need to get out of position for that. Quadrivoire taking a little bit of poke. And Impunity, despite having no blast jammer, still wants to go in. There's SNK boosting in with the Ordain, going to be blocked by bluXD. Spitfire going through, and the Fearsome Shade does actually connect onto bluXD in the end. DefQ going to be on the back line. There's the Solar Storm from Celeste, not doing too much. Spaghetti is very low. He's going to go towards the enemy team. That was a risky play, and he goes low but does not fall. DefQ has got a little bit of energy left. He's going to go on Shingy. Lots of damage. There's a scout up in that bush, but it doesn't matter. DefQ doing all the work. He is Ordained, but he's still going to be able to wait for that to expire. And the Heliogenesis are coming down. They're looking for Spaghetti, and he is still just waiting. Quite healthy now, and both teams are going to back off. But 1 kill for Impunity.
Yep, and that is generally what I'm saying, and what we saw as well. As you know, SNK had to dive in really deep for that one Ordain, in which.
Speaking of Ordained, there's going to be an Ordained onto Quarterbar, and the one-shot dodged by Spaghetti using his Shimmer Strike, but he will fall to the Celeste. And now SNK is going to try and get DefQ. That's a nice Spitfire from Shingy and Goop to try and stop any engagement from Impunity, but they're still going to get the kill onto Batiste and Idris. So another good trade for Impunity. They end up with 3 kills traded for only their captain.
Yep, and that is what I'm talking about. At least, you know, SNK has to go out of his position to drop that Ordain, and now that Blue City already built his reflex block, it wouldn't be fruitless, right? It would not be, you know, your Ordain wouldn't be in fruition at all, because they can just run away, block out that perimeter stun that Ordain provides, and one of the CCs that Ordain has. But all in all, I guess it will work out, especially if you Ordain forcing the reflex block to come out from Blue City, have Spaghetti dive into the backlines, immediately removing Blue City, but then you have to worry about the damage that's coming out from DefQ. DefQ at this point in time sitting at 3 kills, 0 death, and a whole lot of weapon power.
Yeah, certainly DefQ with that Solar Blade, double Tyrants, probably going to work towards triple Tyrants later on in the game once he sells his heat. 1 shot, 1 kill, doesn't connect, but the Supernova does onto SNK. Quarterbar looking for a stun, not going to find anyone, and DefQ is walking through a Goop. That's not where you want to be, DefQ. Spaghetti, that was really quite poor positioning from DefQ. He tried to walk through the Goop, but took far too much damage when it ignited, and this should be an easy gold mine for Infamous. They capitalized on that mistake perfectly.
Yep, but there is a possible still that Blue City can throw out that Solar Storm and just clip that gold mine, and you know the steal would come out, as we do see Blue City in preparation for that steal.
Yeah, he's going to throw it out, but a bit too late. Catherine was not quite providing vision, so there was really no chance of stealing the gold mine. Just blind. You really need to know when it's going to get low enough, because if they see the Celeste ulting, generally your team can just stop attacking gold mine, wait for the Solar Storm to hit, then finish it with your burst. And this time Infamous could just kill it before the Celeste ult came through. SNK still has not got the Echo, and Quarterbar looks like he's going towards Clockwork instead of going Echo on Catherine. What do you think about that decision?
Well, with the Clockwork, I mean, because even if you do go for an Echo, I think it would be so much more better, but it's easily countered by now with Gauntlet if timed right, whereas a Clockwork, it just makes your abilities come up so very often, just so you can land more Merciless Pursuit, probably 2 or 3 Merciless Pursuit in a single fight, and on top of that as well, it is just a Storm Guard coming out more often just to counter Chingy or Spaghetti on their respective heroes. That way, I guess it has got its pros and cons to do without that Echo, but all in all, I think Echo is so much better as an item pickup overall.
Okay, well, we're going to see what Quarterbar is going to decide to go for. He's definitely not going for House Run Chargers, picking up the Journey Boots instead. Another interesting decision, maybe just try and just dodge these Spitfires. And now Infamous going for a turret siege. Spaghetti getting those basics down. Fearsome Shade is blocked, but the turret will fall, and so will the core collapse will land on Spaghetti, taking a lot of hope. Solar Storm comes through, dodged by Spaghetti for the most part, and he's going to walk into an active camera trap, but there's going to be a lovely block onto the blast tremor, and he actually walks out of the active camera trap just in time. Another core collapse to stand on SNK. Luxley going very low, who will be hit by the Ordained, but it will not quite kill him. Now Spaghetti is just baiting. Will he be able to fall? Yes, he will. 1 basic from DefQ is enough. Now Shingy is 1 versus 3, not going to go too aggressive, and that is a nice 2 kills for Impunity.
Yep, that is definitely a very good trade-off for Impunity. However, losing 2 turrets 14 minutes in, I don't think Quarter will be any happy with that, and thus Impunity will be going in for that Crystal Sentry, or try to get that Crystal Sentry, and possibly the second tier turret of Infamous as well. So Impunity definitely going to go to take down the Crystal Sentry, and DevQ constantly just left untouched time and time again, able to put out so much Glimmer Shot damage, and of course the basic attacks as well. And we are not seeing DevQ going for that tornado trigger that we often see on Castro, but the Bone Sword, so very, very reminiscent of the build coming out in 2.7. However, we do not see a clockwork. We just saw the energy battery there, and in fact Quarter War will just build into it now with Gauntlet to try to counter the echo that's coming out from SNK.
Yeah, as you said, Echo is pretty hard countered by No Wave Gauntlet, and SNK is in the position where he cannot build a second reflex block, because if he does, he then has 0 defense on this weapon pack Estral. That's just something you cannot do, especially on someone like Batiste, who has to be in the front line pretty much. So he has to have a metal jacket or at least some defense on Kestrel, otherwise he's going to get bursted down immediately. So that means the No Wave is either going to connect or is going to be forced to use the Crucible. Then obviously that's a free blast jammer from Kaplan, which Idris isn't going to block because he wants to block the Core Collapse. That could be a really good play from Impunity, but they have to fight when the No Wave comes through. The No Wave comes through, and SNK just boots his away, uses War Treads before No Wave hits, and DevQ could be in a bit of trouble. The stun from Kaplan doesn't become DevQ taking a lot of damage from Spaghetti. He's going to block the Blast Hammer with his ultimate. DevQ's going to fall. Quarterbar's the next target. Item Silence is doing nothing on Batiste. He did not manage to use Echo on his ultimate, actually. I think he might have echoed the Ordained instead. So now Spaghetti going to try and take this healing tree to get himself back up, and he does secure it. Quarterbar not going to go too aggressive, and Blue Sea's going to port home. This is a free Kraken for Infamous, but no, they're actually going to stop. They've noticed it. There was no vision, but they just know that Infamous is starting up this Kraken. Blue Sea going to try and poke down Spaghetti with the Helio. Infamous are not bothered about Blue Sea. Now they are. There's the Ordained. That's going to be Blue Sea blocking to try and run away. Spaghetti needs to jump in. He has not got any abilities up to do so. He's going to shackle him for a bit of damage, and the Item Silence comes through. One shot onto SNK. That was not the intended target, but it works, and Impunity stop the Kraken being taken, and possibly Spaghetti. He will not port home. He was stopped, and now Impunity are in a great position, but Blue Sea did fall in the end to Shingy, I believe. And now that was really good, well played by Quarter War and Blue Sea.
Yep. We can tell that they are rather balanced in terms of mechanics, and this is quite a showing for Infamous and of course Impunity as well. Very well played from Blue City to just drop stars all over and just try his best, or rather Quarter War to try his bestest or Impunity's bestest to stop the Kraken being taken. And of course we cannot deny DevQ's one shot, one kill is the saving grace of Impunity for a future Kraken push coming out from Infamous. However, the next fight will definitely be happening around the Kraken. And that is one thing, when I was talking about earlier on, is that Infamous really wants to dive in and SNK cannot quite support it. And just looking at KDA alone, it kind of just proves my point. All in all, whenever SNK goes in for a very, very dangerous maneuver of dropping that Ordain onto that of Blue City or DevQ, usually it will be Blue City that gets it. Then immediately Infamous, the entirety of Infamous will jump on that target. Problem with that is, one shot, one kill coming out, taking SNK down to half health. Impunity will just go for the second turret at this point in time. But
Impunity doing a nice rotation. It looks like Infamous do want to fight. No, they don't want to fight this. Spaghetti's just waiting. He's not actually going to go in, and the Helio's not going to connect onto him. But yeah, Infamous just happy to let that tier 2 turret fall.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, because I mean we saw this coming up from Impunity just yesterday as well. If they are unable to win a team fight, Quarter War coming in with a merciless pursuit, but will just back off afterwards. And we saw this from Impunity yesterday as well. They just immediately go in for the turret if they just do not like to waste time whatsoever.
He's going to get onto Shingy. That's one Glimmer Shot doing a lot of damage. One shot, one kill is available. Does not want to risk it though. Shingy's probably going to be able to dodge that. And now Impunity happy. They've got the kill. They're going to go for Kraken. Lovely Fear was not quite blocked inside. Spaghetti's going to want to dive in. That second Finishing Shade does come through. Not quite going to connect onto any of the carries. But Item Silence lands onto Idris. That's not the intended target. Shingy's going to go down. Idris going to get the double with the Shimmer Strike. And SNK going to start up this Kraken. I think Quarter War will be able to survive. Yeah, he's got his Storm God. There's no way he's just going to get that kill, especially when he misses Shackram's. But now Spaghetti's going to start up this Kraken, and besides a miraculous steal, I think Infamous should be able to get this, or at least just win the fight and just kill him. Yeah, they're going to be able to kill God of War. He went for the Kraken a bit too early. I mean, Celeste is up in 13 seconds, so Infamous needs to be quick. They know there's a double steal coming out from members of Impunity. It's likely that Celeste will ult it to give Kestrel vision, and then the one-shot's going to come out.
Yep, that is possible as well. And Celeste definitely has got very good potential, and a Solar Storm coming out.
That's missed. That's missed. That's far too high. That's too high. One shot, one kill as well. Oh, they didn't time it. They should have used the Solar Storm to give Kestrel vision on the Kraken and then one shot. But they tried to do it at the same time. Nice body block from SNK there.
Yeah, very, very nice body block indeed. So with that ace buff they get from Kraken, they are in a very comfortable position to just push down the lane of Impunity. We saw this scenario before between Infamous and Impunity. As long as Infamous just stick on target and just continue playing like how they are, they will definitely be able to close this game out immediately. However, if they do allow the similar mistakes to happen, which means SNK just being caught out in very unfavorable position, then definitely Impunity would have the upper hand, because SNK, like mentioned earlier on, incredible fear coming up from SNK.
Shake down. Gonna only hold Court of War though, nothing onto the carries. Now what are Infamous going to do? They're going to get one time back off, or they're going to try and fight. Chingy looking to do the poke with the Spitfire, and it looks like the Kraken's going very low. So if Infamous do want to fight, they've got to pull the trigger very soon, and that's going to be a stun onto SNK, and Spaghetti's looking to just Chakram the turret. He actually misses, and yeah, Infamous happy with one turret apparently. They're just going to back off and not get anything else apart from a Crystal Sentry.
But I guess if you do crack
no, they're not even going to get that. Wow.
Oh, wow. I mean, but I guess if they do get that, then, you know, wall threats can be used, or rather boots can be used to go into that of Infamous and immediately take them out, because they'll probably have burned their abilities on the Crystal Sentry. But Impunity will be going in for that standard maneuver again.
The Blast Hammer misses. Blast Hammer going completely wide. Echo was not used. So, and Item Silence was used. This is a fantastic time for Infamous to fight. There was not war treads on SNK. You can almost afford them another 150 gold when he goes to the shop. But yeah, the Blast Tremor goes down. So does the Null Wave. That's not great timing for Impunity, and Catherine knows it. She wants to port home. All three members going to port in that bush. So now Infamous aren't going to get anything from it. They managed to bait out the engage from Catherine, but didn't then follow up. And actually, SNK deciding Metal Jacket is more worth his time. Now he's going to pick up some flares. We need some vision, and if he flares on top of Kestrel, this should be quite an easy fight for Spaghetti. But they just haven't been diving in. I think SNK needs to prioritize war treads, and they will probably not face check that bush. Court of War should probably flare it. I'm very surprised. Why do you think SNK hasn't built war treads yet? I
mean, honestly, they don't really want to rush in altogether. Idris can rush in.
Rushing in altogether, there's going to be a block onto the Blast Hammer. Idris going to go Threesome Shade. Does land on two members, all three members. Threesome Shade. That's another Threesome Shade from Tease. So much work, but Spaghetti is going to fall, and that is another Blast Hammer coming down from Catherine. She's going to go in onto Shingy. So is Deathview. Shingy's going to fall so low immediately. Now Bluxty is the lowest member of Impunity, but SNK is the only member of Infamous. One shot, bit wide. No chance really of hitting someone with the one shot when they use their boots, and there's no chance of SNK surviving this. Bluxty's on one side, Deathview's on the other. Impunity take the ace, and will they take the game? No, they're going for a turret and a Kraken instead. So Impunity want one more team fight.
There was an orgy of damage that rained down upon that of Infamous, although it pulled off two Threesome Shade, but it just wasn't enough whatsoever. The amount of damage that's coming up from Deathview and, you know, Blue City was just immense. Grunt and Spaghetti dove in to just, you know, put out the damage that's needed onto Blue City and Deathview. But there is just not much of follow-up whatsoever coming out from SNK and Chingy, because SNK, like said, not the tankiest of hero, but Quartervo can just dive in back into the backlines, land those merciless pursuit just to stun out Spaghetti. If not, then Chingy just cannot follow up whatsoever with any sort of damage, because like said and like mentioned, the thing that's separating the two majors, Celeste and Scarf, is that Celeste's abilities stay on the fold for quite some time before, you know, igniting or just going away. Ignition, of course, by the terms of Supernova.
Yeah, there's Goops being ignited by Goops by Xingyi, which is a very interesting way to play Scarf with a lot of cooldown. Quarterbar going to be the one, actually all three man taking the Fearsome Shade, but there's no engage from Infamous. Echo was used by SNK. Fearsome Shade is available again. There's the Dragon's Breath coming out very early. They're trying to go for the fight. Defq's going to get jumped on by Spaghetti. Lovely Solar Storm from Celeste, but Defq is going to be the one to fall. The second blast from it doesn't do that much work, and now Quarterbar is going to be focused by Spaghetti, and Impunity is just going for the win. Bluxley going for the back door while Idris is going on his Catherine, and now Bluxley is like, oh dear, I'm in trouble. Looks like I'm going to have to try and kill him. That's not going to work, and Infamous do not lose the game. They still have one turret left. This looks like it's going to be a 30-minute game, possibly, Luxuria.
Yeah, it might be a 30-minute game. Both of these teams just looking very strong and even at this point in time. Whenever they trade out, it's either one side win and the other just come back afterwards, almost immediately. If not, then, you know, it is just a rather even trade out without any objectives being exchanged or traded out. All in all, however, a lot of infusions are going across the board, and Infamous will finally take the Crystal Sentry that we were hoping they are going to take for a while now.
Yeah, Xingyi still needs quite a bit of gold. Still needs another 600 gold until Xingyi can afford to buy a Broken Myth. This is really not a good time for Infamous to fight. I know that Bluxley hasn't got one. Bluxley's still working towards that Aegis, still needs another 100 gold to pick that up. But Xingyi really needs to get Broken Myth in these fights because Bluxley's got double defense almost. She's actually gone for the Infusion and Journey Boots instead. And Infamous are going for the sneaky play. They cannot backdoor. Spaghetti's the only one who could even attempt the wall jump, and it's quite a hard one to do. But Impunity knows something's up. I'm pretty sure they're expecting Infamous in the party brush just next door, and now Defq is like, no, I'm not going past this line. This is my base. I am happy here, and both teams know. Impunity just know what is up. They are not going to go anywhere near. And how long can Infamous wait in that exact position? I reckon a couple more minutes.
Yeah. Well, probably.
They've given up. They've had enough. They've caved. They're going to port home because Xingyi still can't afford her a Broken Myth. I'm not quite sure why they ported home. They repop the Infusion on Idris, and yeah, this is looking like both teams are just going to be too scared to go anywhere near the enemy. And actually, Quarterbar was waiting for Contraption, which is why he didn't want to go aggressive. And yeah, Xingyi nearly there, so close. Another 2,250 gold is what you need for Broken Myth. So Xingyi's like, nah, let me just give me a sec. Maybe it's 2,050 with their piercing shards. She's just waiting. And yeah, they need to be careful because Impunity are looking for the back door or just the front door. Just walk straight through the base.
And one more thing as well, I think the side of Infamous was actually timing the Crystal Sentry respawn, and that is why they ported back. If that is the case, then very well played coming out from Infamous. Do not want to fight around that Sentry at least. But now Impunity is forced to back off because all three members is just defending that base, and they might just go for a sneaky Kraken pickup at this point in time. I mean,
Infamous want to fight. Because Xingyi's picked up Broken Myth now, needed 2,250, got it, now needs a bit lane gold to re-infuse, and this is why I said the game might go very long, because both the carries, Celeste and Scarf, just want to wait. Xingyi is going to take a lot of damage. The Infusion's still active, and Impunity are going to take that as their reason to engage, but not really. Nope, they're just going to go walk up to lane and say hello and then back off. Xingyi going to go down to jungle, repop herself with Infusion. And again, both teams just waiting for the other to make a mistake or make the first move. Whoever starts up Kraken is probably going to lose the fight because then they get engaged on. They've already low for taking Kraken. And now Impunity once again just pushing the wave. And there's going to be once again port from Infamous. And then Impunity are going to go to Kraken.
Yep, once again, very back and forth this tug of war here that, you know, Impunity and Infamous is just in and strangled in, and there is really nothing that, you know, either side can do because they know either way, if they lose any of the team fight that's gonna be coming up next, the other team will win. But Defq is
going to be engaged. Xingyi walks into an actual cover trap where there's no vision. One shot does not connect, and Xingyi is very low. The fountain was used by SNK before he died, and Impunity are like, we know where you are, Xingyi, we're going to come and find you, we're going to hunt you down. And now if I was Idris, I'd just go for the back door. You're not going to win this fight. Now he's going for the 1v3 place. Here comes Spaghetti walking down the alley, and he's going to get stunned by the call-ups. No, he's going to dodge it, but he's not got enough. Double kill. That is an ace for Impunity. One turret left, and that'll be the game.
And that is just the mistakes coming out from the side of Infamous. I will not say it's a mistake, but it was just the, the active camo trap that caught the Chingy and not Chingy, at least SNK out then, and SNK was just so oblivious to it because there was just no vision whatsoever. But of course, it is very well played, and definitely Impunity winning the tug of war after 30 minutes.
Yeah, extremely well played by both sides. But in the end, Impunity had the better rotation. They had the map control. They forced Infamous to port home, so they were in a slightly poor position to try and fight. And then Impunity could just